Hello students, today I am going to discuss about the soil pollution, then the industrial waste, then the green chemistry. So these topics I am going to discuss in this video. Now we will see what is that soil pollution, industrial waste and the green chemistry now. The soil pollution, here the India being an agriculture based economy gives high priority to agriculture, fisheries and livestock development. So the surplus production is stored by governmental and the non-governmental organizations for the lean season. The food loss during the storage also needs special attentions. Okay, see here the foods loss during the storage also needs special attention. Have you ever seen the damage causes the crops, food items by insects, rodents, weeds and the crop disease, etc. How can we protect them? You are acquainted with the insecticides and the pesticides for the protections of our crops. However, these insecticides, pesticides and the herbicides cause soil pollutions. Hence, these are need for their judicious use. First, we will see the pesticides. The pesticides here. Prior to the World War II, many naturally occurring chemicals such as nicotine were used as pest controlling substance for major crops in the agriculture practices. During the World War II, the DDT was found to be the great use in the control of the malaria and other insect-borne diseases. Therefore, after the war, the DDT was put to use the agriculture to control the damages caused by insects, rodents, weeds and the various crops disease. However, due to the adverse effect, its use has been banned in the India. The pesticides are basically synthetic toxic chemicals with ecological repercussions. The use of the same or similar pesticides give rise to the pests that are resistant to that group of pesticides, thus making the pesticides ineffective. Therefore, as insect resistance of the DDT, other organic toxins such as aldrin and dialdrin were introduced in the market by pesticides industries. Most of the organic toxins are water insoluble and non-biodegradable. So these high persistence toxins are therefore transferred from lower trophic level to higher trophic level through food chains. See, you can see that at each trophic level at pollutant gets 10 times concentrated. You can see that the molecular level first, then the aquatic plant, then the small fish, then the large fish, then the larger fish, then largest fish, the human being. Here the response over the time, the concentration of the toxins, the higher animals reach a level which causes serious metabolic and the physiological disorder. So in response to high persistence of the chlorinated organic toxin, a new series of less persistent or more biodegradable products are called organophosphates and carbamates have been introduced in the market. But these chemicals are severe nerve toxin and here more harmful to the human. As a result, there are reports of some pesticides related deaths of agriculture field workers. Insects have become resistant to these insecticides also. Okay, then these days the pesticide industries has shifted its attention to herbicides such as sodium chloride, sodium arsenate and many others. So during the first half of the last century, the shift from mechanical to chemical weed control had provided the industry with flourishing economic market, but one must remember that these are also not environment friendly. Okay, so most herbicides are toxic to mammals but are not as persistent as organochlorides. These chemicals decompose in few months like organochlorides these two become concentrated in food web. Some herbicide cause birth defects. Studies show that the cornfield sprayed with the herbicides are more prone to insect attack and plant disease than field that they weeded manually. Next is the industrial waste. Next is the industrial waste. Here the industrial waste as industrial solid wastes are also stored out as biodegradable and non-degradable wastes. The biodegradable wastes are generated by cotton mills, food processing units, paper mills and the textile factories. The non-biodegradable wastes are generated by thermal power plants which produce fly ash, integrated iron and steel plants which produce blast furnace slag and steel melting slag, like that. The industries manufacturing aluminium, zinc and copper produce mud and tailings. Fertilizer industries produce gypsum. Hazardous waste such as inflammables, composite explosives or the highly reactive substances are produced by the industries dealing in the metals, chemicals, drugs, pharmaceuticals, dyes, pesticides, rubber, the rubber goods, like this. So, the disposal non-degradable industrial solid waste, if not done by a proper and the suitable method, may cause serious threat to the environment. So, the new innovations have led to different uses of waste material. Nowadays, fly ash and slag from these steel industries are utilized by the cement industries. Then, the large quantities of the toxic waste are usually destroyed by the controlled incinerations, whereas the small quantities are burnt along with the factory garbage in the open bins. Okay. Moreover, the solid waste is not managed effectively, affect the components of the environment. Then the strategies to control the environmental pollution, mainly the waste management, then collection and the disposal. Here the industrial waste pollution, mainly the waste management, how to take the waste management. The solid waste is not the only waste which you see in your household garbage boxes. Beside the household discards, there are medical, agricultural, industrial and mining wastes. So, this improper disposal of waste is one of the major causes of environmental degradation. Therefore, the management of waste of the utmost important. Then the collection and the disposal. The domestic wastes are collected in small bins which are then transferred to the community bins by private or the municipal workers. From these community bins, these are collected and carried to the disposal site. At the site, the garbage is sorted out and separated into biodegradable and the non-biodegradable materials. The non-biodegradable materials such as plastic, glass, metal scraps, like this, are sent for the recycling. Then the biodegradable wastes are deposited in the landfills and are converted to the compost. The waste is, if not collected in garbage bins, find its way into the sewer. Some of it's eaten by cattle. Non-biodegradable waste like polythene bags, metal scraps, etc. So, the chalk these sewers and the cause inconvenience. So, the polythene bags swallowed by cattle can cause their lives also. As a normal practice, therefore all domestic waste should be properly collected and disposed. The poor management causes health problems leading to the epidemics due to the contamination of the groundwater. It is especially hazardous for those who are in direct contact with the waste, such as rag pickers and the workers involved in the waste disposal, as they are one who handle waste material mostly without protective device such as gloves or waterproof boots and gaskets. Okay. Then the green chemistry. Green chemistry, the introduction, it is a well-known fact that self-sufficiency in food has been achieved in India since the late 20th century by using the fertilizer and pesticides and exploring improved methods of farming, good quality seeds, irrigation like this. But over exploitations of soil and excessive use of fertilizer and the pesticides have resulted in the deterioration of the soil. So water and the oil also, that water and the air also. Here the solution of this problem does not lie in the stopping the process of development that has been set in, but the discover method which would help in the reduction of the deterioration of the environment. So the green chemistry is the way of thinking and is about utilizing the existing knowledge and the principles of the chemistry and other science to reduce the adverse impact on environment. Here the green chemistry is a production process that would bring about minimum pollution or deterioration to the environment. The byproducts generated during a process, if not used gainfully, add to the environmental pollution. Such as a process are not only environmental unfriendly but also cost ineffective. So this waste generation and its disposal both are economically unsound. The utilization of the existing knowledge base for the reducing the chemical hazards along with the developmental activities is the foundation of the green chemistry. Okay. See, as you know, chemical reactions involve the reactants, attacking reagents and the medium in which the reactant takes place. So extent of any reaction depends upon the physical parameters like temperature, pressure and use of catalyst in a chemical reaction. If reactants are fully converted into useful environmental friendly products by using an environmental friendly medium, then there would be no chemical pollutant introduced in the environment. So during the synthesis, care must be taken to choose starting materials that can be converted into end products with the yield approximately up to 100%. This can be achieved by arriving at optimum condition of the synthesis. It may be worthwhile to carry out synthetic reactions in aqueous medium since the water has high specific heat and the low volatility. So water is cost effective, non-inflammable and devoid of any carcinogenic effects. Then the green chemistry in day-to-day life, dry cleaning of clothes, bleaching of paper, then synthesis of the chemicals. Tetrachloroethane was earlier used in the solvent for the dry cleaning. The compounds contaminates the groundwater and it's also suspected carcinogen. The carcinogen highly produce cancer type. The process using the compound is now being replaced by a process where the liquefied carbon dioxide with a suitable detergent is used. So the replacement of the halogenated solvent by liquid carbon dioxide will result the less harm to the groundwater. So these days the hydrogen peroxide is used for the purpose of bleaching cloths in the process of the laundry, which gives the better results and make us use a lesser amount of water. Then the bleaching of paper. The bleaching of paper, chlorine gas was used earlier for bleaching paper. These days hydrogen peroxide with suitable catalyst which promotes the bleaching actions of the hydrogen peroxide is used. Then the synthesis of chemicals, the ethanol also called acetaldehyde. The ethanol is now commercially prepared by one-step oxidation of ethene in the presence of ionic catalyst in the aqueous medium with the yield of the 90%. So ethene in the presence of oxygen, in the presence of catalytic like palladium 2+ and the copper 2+ in the water, you will be getting that ethanol. The green chemistry in a nutshell is a cost-effective approach which involves the reduction in the material, energy consumption and waste generation. Hello students, today we were seeing the industrial waste, soil pollution, then the green chemistry. The green chemistry day-to-day life also we were discussed in this video. Please go through this video deeply. Thank you.